It is an awesome responsibility for a man to stand and speak on the unsearchable riches of God. For God thundereth marvelously with his voice, and great things doeth he which we cannot comprehend. Ecclesiastes 9, 13 through 18. Ecclesiastes 9, 13 through 18. Wisdom is better than strength. You want to write the title down, that's what it is. Wisdom is better than strength. Amen? Amen. This wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city, and few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it, great siege mounts against it, great siege works against it. Oh man, he did his thing. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he, by his wisdom, delivered the city. Yet no man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. The words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. If wisdom is better than weapons of war, or rather wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. Wisdom is better than strength. Nice little story. But what can we take away from it? Well, first of all, wisdom is better than strength. But here's the problem. This says that there was found in it, verse 15, there was found in this city a poor wise man. Well, now we got a problem. If he was all that wise, why didn't he have some money? Now today, if you're all that wise, what you doing broke? Huh? That's the first problem this brother has. If you all that wise, why are you broke? Now here's the problem. He delivered the whole city with his wisdom. But he's broke. Now why is he broke? Well, the answer is always going to be in the verse. Make sense? Verse 16. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength, but nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised. Why is the poor man's wisdom despised?
Because he's poor.
No. He's poor because his wisdom is despised. He's not. He's not broke because he's wise. He's broke because he's wise. He's broke because he's wise. Because his wisdom, what? Is despised. So people turn that thing around and say, well, if you're so wise, why are you broke? Well, I'm broke because I'm wise. Everybody is what? Give me the word. Jealous. There was found one poor wise man. Nobody would listen to him until all hell broke loose.
Amen.
He was poor until a great king came and started besieging the city. And then they found the wise man. Oh, wait a minute, hold it. We got a wise man in town. You've had him all along. He just didn't pop up and here he is today, and he wasn't there yesterday. Huh? So this thing could have started in verse 16. We had a wise man in town that everybody's despised. But one day a king came and started besieging the city, and we had to find that wise man so he could help us deliver the city. Now, is that a better way of saying it? And as soon as he delivered the city, we forgot where he stayed.
Yeah.
Huh? And now he poor again. And we wonder, well, where he poor? You know any situation like that around here? Where nobody ever needs you until they need you? They'll only be bothered with you until they need you. And when they're done needing you, they don't want to be bothered with you no more. But wisdom is better than strength. So, rich or poor, respected or not, get in the books.
Amen.
Huh? Amen. There's going to be a time when God recognizes you.
Yes.
There is no name for this poor wise man, but he made it in the book.
Amen. Amen.
God recognizes those who are wise. Daniel says those who are wise shine like the firmament, and those who are wise and turn others to righteousness like the stars forever.
Yes.
God will recognize you.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Don't ever let other folk who consider you poor and hate it. Well, he ain't worth nothing, he ain't got nothing. Okay, I'm not worth anything. I don't have anything. Your car is better than mine. Your house is better than mine. All my suits was bought 5 years ago. You got a brand new suit on. You just bought day before yesterday. Fine. Right? But one of these days, something is going to besiege your life. And the Lord is going to make sure that you are going to have to run to that guy with that 5-year-old suit on. Huh? Or you're going to have to go to that lady who you always say, well, she ain't worth a quarter, and bum a quarter from her. Here it is right here. God does not necessarily choose those who believe in themselves alone. Here's a question. Why did this king from this great city go against it and besiege it? Why did he do that?
There's only one wise man in the whole city.
Sometimes, stuff in your life just don't make sense. Until you recognize somebody in your life that you've been ignoring. Have you ever noticed that? Stuff just goes to pieces, and then all of a sudden you say, well, wait a minute, I need to do so and so and so, and then it goes away. God will put something in your life to get you back to where you promised him you would be.
Amen.
Hmm? And what is in you, watch this. What would happen? What would happen if this city, this little city, with few men in it, was you? Watch this. What would happen if this city with few men in it was you? And you come to church and the seed that Jesus Christ put in you has been taught and taught and taught, and you still out in the world. And you come to church and you don't like this one and you don't like that one, but you sit and you listen to the sermon, and that little man in you that Paul said, I pray that God would strengthen you with might in the inner man. Every Sunday he gets stronger and stronger. You still hell raising Saturday night and you sitting in here like this. But the word of God, right, will not come back void. And once it goes out, it will do.
Hallelujah.
So you sitting in here mad because so-and-so is in your seat and you got to sit somewhere else. But that little wise man in that city with all these folk, now you got to be this one because you're in that group. But when you leave that group, you got to be this one. So you got a couple of folk in there still. It ain't just you and the Lord. Come on, man. Right? So you got the you got this little city working because you got 2 or 3 different groups of folk that you got to live with. Come on here. Amen. You got 2 or 3 little groups of folk that you got to show up and you got to be who you are in that group. Especially, brother, if you got more than one girlfriend. And she says that when you walk through the door. Where you been? So that's why you got 2, because one of them don't yell like that at you. But you're a child of God, and that little man is on the inside. So what does God do? He puts you in a trick bag. That's what he puts you in. Come on. I ain't the only one that understands that word. That term. He puts you in a trick bag. And nobody can get you out of it. No matter what little group you go to, they can't get you out of it. No matter what little trick you pull, you can't get out of it. No matter what you do, you can't get out of it. In other words, it has set some siege works around your life, and you can't get out of it. So guess what you wind up doing? Coming back to church. And you sit up in there, and it don't matter who the preacher is. It could be somebody from Chicago, and he's just here for the day. And he preaches right on what you do. He hits you right in the forehead with what he preaches. Amen. And the little poor folk, and the little man that you ain't been paying attention to, and that's why you don't Bible study, that's why you don't pray. That little man on the inside who's poor, you ain't fed him nothing, you ain't taught him nothing, you ain't let him say nothing. He's the only one. And then he says, I tried to tell you. Amen. And then this verse comes into play. Verse 17. The words of the wise man are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among the fools. See, you thought you were in charge when you were in them little groups. But it's not until God isolates you. And finally, the little wise man, the little one on the inside that Jesus Christ put there when you wanted to be saved, when you really wanted to be saved. You remember way back years ago when you really wanted to be saved? But the one that God put in there, and you have just about starved him to death, or so you thought. That little wise man in the quiet. When you either run away from all them little groups because you can't handle it, or they have run you away because they can't handle you, and you are finally away from all of that. And then in the silence, This little wise man, the one that you have kept poor all your Christian life, finally gets the chance to say, I tried to tell you. And he gets you out of there. And you come to church for a whole 2 months. And then we go back to verse 15. The C portion, and it says, yet no man remember that same poor man. After about 2 months in church, you go right back to it again.
Lord Jesus, have mercy.
How many years are we going to ride this bicycle? Huh? How many times are we going to ride in this circle? From 15 to 17 to 15 to 17. And then every now and again we get 13 sprinkled in. Why? Because God's got to say, you need, okay, I need to knock you off this bicycle again. But my question is why? When you remember what happened the last time, why do we continue to do that? Okay, well, I'm gonna cut it short this time. I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it like that. Baby, a Maserati is a car. A Ferrari is a car. A Mercedes-Benz is a car. A Cadillac is a car. A Volkswagen Beetle is a car. A Honda, a Hyundai,
Yeah.
It don't matter what you call it. They even call Pintos cars. I don't know why, but they even call Pintos cars. The Gremlin was a car. I mean, come on. But it was a car, wasn't it? So no matter how they did it, no matter what it looked like, no matter how it ran, come on here. Or didn't. Brand new Pinto. You had to put it in first. You had to stop, put it in first, and then drive up the hill. But it was still a car. So you're going to go and you're not going to do the sin that way. It's still a sin.
Yes.
So now the king has to besiege your little city all over again. And it's going to take that little person on the inside to get you back in the church. But how many times do you have to go through this before you realize what Ecclesiastes realized, the preacher realized? Verse 16, then said I, wisdom is better than strength. See, because we go in our own strength. I'm a man. Well, I'm a woman. And all on TV, we're told to be men and women. All on TV, we'll be told to do this. All on TV, we're told to do that. All on, because we're what? We're this. We're that. And then the Lord says, you ain't this and you ain't that. You are a lively stone. You are members one of another. You need to hold that one up. I don't like that one. Well, hold her up anyway. I don't like him. You need to hold him up anyway. Why? Because you are fitly joined together. Well, I don't like him. Well, you are joined to him. Get over it.
Amen.
Well, are you allergic to it? Yeah, well then I'll ask him to stop using that cologne. But you stuck to it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. You stuck to it. You stuck with her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Amen.
Because you are working. If you cannot work with the 10 to 20 people that are in this church, why would God put mofo in here and you can't work with the ones that's in here?
Amen.
Why would God send more of his children in here to get mangled up by you? He said, well, God adds people to other churches. It might be because they ain't doing nothing, so they're not going to do anything positive or negative. They just sit in there and go home.
Amen.
They go in, they sit, they listen, they go home. They don't do nothing. They don't bother anybody. They don't say anything to anybody. They hardly ever speak to each other. So God can put somebody in there because he knows ain't nobody going to mess with them. And they say, oh man, folk join church every day. No, they don't. They join the warehouse every day. They'll be in warehouse until God can find a church where they can grow. They're in a nursery. And stuff don't normally grow all that much in a nursery. Okay, here's the question. Solid Rock, do you want to be a nursery or a garden?
Garden.
Okay, well then we need to do more. We need to live in the first part of verse 18. Wisdom is better than weapons of war. Now we are warriors. We have to be. We have to be. We are warriors. But we use wisdom because the world uses weapons of war. Huh? The world uses tactics and stuff and people against us. They use weapons of war. They use lie. They use cheat. They use all of that stuff. But we need wisdom. We need to know. We need to be like the Toreador. Bullfighter. We need to wave something at him and then get out of the way and let him run by. Wisdom says if you shake something in a bull's face, he's going to run to it and miss you. I don't know whether or not it needs to be red. It might be just so the crowd can see what he's waving. The bull might not need red. Huh? But what he needs is something flashing in front of his face. So, wisdom. When people start talking about you, get them interested in something else. Get them interested in something else and let them run over here. Does that make sense?
Amen.
Get them interested. Well, here's something to get them interested in. Themselves. Because probably the reason why they're talking about you is because they're more interested in themselves than they are in you. They are talking about you to build themselves up in the first place. So get them interested in you. Or rather in themselves. And let them miss you. Make sense?
Amen.
But one second. If you let one horn get you, you're done. And all of the stuff that the Lord has taught you over all of this time, you're out of church 6 weeks. Huh? You're bedridden. Why? Because you've been gored. You've been trampled. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You've got to understand. You've got to understand that you are being besieged at every turn. And it's only the wisdom of God that's going, that little poor guy that you got that nobody pays any attention to. And whenever you talk to them about your Lord, they don't pay all that much attention to you either, if at all. Make sense? So you are the poor folk at this point. You are the poor wise man at this point. Why? Because everywhere you go, you are trying to get them to understand that you don't need to fight this guy. You can be delivered through wisdom. That's what you tell them. That's what you talk about all the time. Because the Lord delivered you through wisdom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And wisdom is stronger than strength. It's better than strength. Does that make sense?
Amen.
The words of wise men, verse 17, are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that rules among fools. There's another way of saying this. Peacemakers make peace then teach in peace.
Hallelujah.
Yes. Amen.
And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God.
Hallelujah.
Wow!
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
That opens the doors of the church.
Hallelujah.
Amen.